This video has been made possible by Rebusfarm, the professional render service. Hey everybody, my name is Mike Hermes and welcome to my channel. Well guys, whenever I do a tutorial on game props or whenever people look at tutorials about game props, I usually get the feedback that, you know, it's too complicated, too much going on, and can you do a tutorial with the bare essentials, okay? So how do you create a model in Maya? How do you UV that model, texture that model in Photoshop, and get the whole thing into a game engine so you can have a playable situation with your prop, okay? So what I did is I stripped it down to the bare basics, and that's what we're going to do today, okay? So let's get started and have some fun. Here we go. Okay guys, here we go. So we are going to create a simple traffic light prop for use in Unreal Engine 4. And that said, let's get started. We're going to take a polygon cube for the base here, and we're going to right click, go to vertex, take the top 4 vertices, hit R, scale it in a little bit, and push that down by hitting W, okay? Now, there's no need for this bottom face here, so we're going to right click and delete that face. And especially for game engines, any topology that you can get rid of that is not in your shot, get rid of it because it helps, okay? Then we need the pole on top here, so we'll take a polygon cylinder, and we do not need the faces on the top or the bottom, so we're going to hit Control A. We're going to go to our poly cylinder here. First of all, let's just set the caps to 0, and then we can right click at a face, delete that one, delete that one. We're going to right click at object mode, we're going to hit R to scale this in, and let's scale that up, and let's see how thick this should be. So let's just bring that way in. That's probably the right thickness. Hit 4 for wireframe mode. We're going to hit W and bring that up. We do have quite some subdivision there, and I probably should have done that first because this will probably mess up my model, maybe. Let's have a look. Yeah, hang on. I'll just fix that here. So one way to even have lower poly count is these poles are not always round, okay? So what we can do is, let's say we'll do 8 here, and we'll just say that that is the shape of our pole, and it will again save poly count. So we're going to take these faces, we're going to get rid of them, we're going to right click, go to vertex, drag select that and bring that to the base, and then drag select the top, and let's bring that up, and let's see how high, maybe depending on the top section there, let's do that. Okay, so now that we have that, good. Next part, we're going to take the top section there. For that, we'll take a polygon cube. We're going to pull that up. We're going to move into this view here. Let's bring that up like so. We're going to hit R to scale that in. Let's look at the proportion here. That looks about right. Then from this view, we will push that in a little bit, and then we'll right click and go to vertex, take these 2 vertices at the top here, hit W and pull that out like that. Now the whole thing is a bit deep, so we're going to hit R and we're going to bring that in just a little. That looks about right. Okay, then we're going to right click, go to face, and we are going to delete that. We're going to take this guy, object mode, hit Control E to extrude it, and do 0.01, just enough to make sure that we have nice normals inside and out. That looks okay. Now we're going to need a panel in there, so for that we'll take a polygon plane, we'll hit W to pull that up, in our attribute editor, we're going to set the divisions to 1 by 1. Hit E to rotate, hold down J to snap in sections of 15 degrees. Hit W and bring that down. And then from this view, we're going to start to bring that in. There we go. That's actually not too bad. Okay, let's see what we got. I have to zoom in. So we're going to bring that forward. So we're going to hit W and bring that forward to about there. All right. And what we're going to do next is we're going to create some lights for this guy. So we'll take a polygon sphere. We'll pull that up. We'll set the subdivision to, let's try 8. That's not bad. E to rotate. Hold down J to, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Yeah, there we go. Hold down J to snap to 90 degrees. Hit W to pull out. We're going to right click at a face and we're going to drag select half and get rid of it. And then we're going to right click at object mode. We're going to hit R and we're going to flatten it quite a bit, like so. And then we're going to select it and we're going to go in our modeling menu to mesh display and soften edge, which helps. And I'm just going to check my poly count here. And we're going to go to display UI elements and heads up display and poly count. Where do you go? Right there. Okay, so it's a poly count of 60 and 77 verts. Okay, so we could probably go in and go to mesh and smooth. And let's see, that will give us 148. Yeah, it's going to be a few hundred on the poly count. That should be okay. So we'll leave that as is. We're going to hit W. We're going to push that in. Bring that up. Let's position them correctly. So we're going to hit R to scale that way, way down to about there. Control D to duplicate. W to move up. And we're going to hit Shift D one time to copy that again. Now we're going to move this down a bit. We're going to move this guy down a bit. And now that we have all three, we can decide where we want them to be. Okay, there we go. Now from this view, hit 4. We're going to make sure they're sitting on our vertical panel here, like that. And that seems to be okay. So that's basically our prop here. Let's check our poly count. It's 388 faces, not bad. So we're going to go to Edit, Delete by Type, History. We're going to go to Modify and Freeze Transformations. And let's do Mesh and Combine. Let me think. Do I want that or do I not want that? No, I do not. I'm going to hit Separate. I am going to select it and hit Control G to group it. And I'll just call this light post. All right. Cool. So now that we have that, our next step is UVing. Okay, so we're going to select this guy. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to UV and we're going to go to automatic projection. And then we're going to go back up to UV and UV editor. Now this is probably very hard to see for you guys. So what I'll do is I'll, let's see if we can turn that on. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So that's going to help. I'm not going to do everything in one go because that's going to be a bit confusing. So what I'll do is I'll start down here with this guy. Okay. Now we're going to start with the top there. So we're going to right click, go to shell, we're going to right click, go to edge, take that edge and go up to move and sew, select this one, hit G to repeat, G to repeat, and G to repeat. Okay, so that is now a shell. Cool. Then we're going to go to this guy, right click shell, and you can see that this stuff needs to be stitched. So again, right click edge, take one of those, move and sew, G to repeat, G to repeat. So now right click shell, that's all done. We're going to take this guy, okay, so we're going to take our top panel, right click shell, that's our bottom, where's our top, that's our top, okay. So we're going to take our top here, we're going to right click, go to edge, take that one, move and sew, and then move it over here, probably to right there, yeah. So right click edge on the top there, move and sew, we'll do one here, hit G to repeat last command, one there, we're going to leave that alone. Let's see, what else do we got here? These are going to be stitched together, that's going to be going there, and let's see how that works out. Just trying to understand, this needs to be cut UV edges, that's going to be over there, so move and sew, we'll just go and cut this, and then we'll go and move and sew. Okay, so what is this right here? That's that front little edge, we're going to leave that alone. Okay, so this is all good, and then we have this plate in here. Okay, and that plate is good, as you can see. And then we have these guys. Okay, so what we're going to do there is we're going to take this guy, shell, let's see, we're going to right click, go to edge, and we're going to go to move and sew, hit G to repeat, G to repeat, G to repeat, put that in there, that in there. I'm just going to right click and go to shell and go to unfold, that helps. Right click edge once again, move and sew, and I'm trying to do this fairly fast, and I'm sure there are people that can do this much faster. I cannot, not while I'm talking about it. So let's just get that stuff in here, and I'm just selecting them and hitting G to repeat last command, which is move and sew. Okay, we're gonna right click on the shell once again, and let's do unfold, almost there, right click edge, move and sew, move and sew. All right, shell and unfold. Okay, now these guys are not UV'd, so I'm gonna right click on object mode, delete that and delete that, and then switch over to this view. Just minimize that for a sec. Take that, hit Control D to duplicate, go to modify center pivot, and hit Shift D to repeat. Let's position them a bit better. All right, so now all of this is UV'd. Let's get it all laid out correctly on one UV. So I got everything selected. I'm going to go to UV and UV editor. Here's all our stuff. Right click shell, select everything, and go to layout. Okay, so this is my entire UV, and what I'm going to do next is I'm going to move this out. Now before I do that, there are a couple of items here that are a little bit too big compared to the rest, especially these guys here. So I'm going to right click at a shell and then take these guys, and just going to hit R and scale them down quite a bit, and I'll take one and we'll just kind of manually reposition the location of this stuff, because we don't want these to be too big compared to the rest. Okay, we'll move that up here. That's our base. This is our casing, the top part there. That's that front little edge, and we've got this guy. Let's see, and then we got this guy, and that's our pole. So let's just be sure that we know what's what. That's the pole, and that's the plate inside, base, casing, front, and our lights. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into polygons, UV snapshot. We're going to do a 2K map, so 2048. We're going to hit browse, and let's just create a new folder for this, and we'll call this streetlight. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to save this UV snapshot. So streetlight UV snap. Okay, and let's save that out. 2K maps fine, Targa format's fine, and we're in the 0 to 1 space. Now this is our 0 to 1 space. That's at top right corner there, so that's good. Okay, so let's hit OK. There we go. And what we're going to do next is we are going to jump into Photoshop. So see you there. Right guys, so here we are in Photoshop. We are going to start by opening up our snapshot. So we're going to go to File, Open, and here is our snapshot. Let's give that a sec. There we go. Now you can see that it's white on black, and I think we can see it better if we reverse that. So we're going to hit Control I to invert that. Okay, and as you can see, it's not really clear. So we're going to go to Image, Adjustments, Brightness and Contrast, bring down the brightness and bump up the contrast. And what we can also do is zoom in a little bit. So hit Control plus, and once you do that, you will see that you can see it fine. Okay. Now we need to add some color to our model, and there are a couple of ways you can do that. You can either use 2D textures, so texture files that you kind of paste into these areas, or you can paint it. Okay. Now I'm going to choose kind of a paint type style. So we're going to start off by painting our lights up here. We're not going to paint on top of our UV, so we're going to create a new layer. So we're going to go down here and hit New Layer, and make sure you're working on layer 1, so not on your background. Okay. Now I need a brush to paint. Obviously, I'm in the brush section here. I'm going to take a nice solid brush. There we go. I'm going to make sure that the opacity is 100%, and let's start with our traffic lights. Now the top light is red, if I'm not mistaken. So here we go. And this brush has a layered feel to it, which is kind of cool because it will give a little bit of depth, which is always nice. The middle one is yellow, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the painting here. As usual in my tutorials, this is about the method, not about the result. I don't want to spend too much time playing around with these settings. I just want you guys to understand the steps that you need to follow. Okay, but at the same time, I don't want it to look completely horrible. Okay, so this is the base here. That's probably going to be concrete, so we'll take something gray And there we go. And let's just get that color in there. And again, the spotty effect, or the flaky effect of the gray kind of works for me. I will be adding a little bit of black dirt, if you will, but let's get this in first. So that's okay. Then we have our pole here, which is probably metal, but we'll take the same type of gray to cover that. There we go. This is our front plate. Now for our plate, we'll take, I don't know, kind of a grungy looking yellow. It's more green actually, but that's fine. I need to be careful here. I normally do this with a tablet, so doing this with a, I think I hit my gray there. We should be good. I normally do this with a tablet, so doing this with a mouse is kind of odd, but I'll do my best. All right, so this is the front plate. So these guys are all the same color because they're all part of the same casing. Okay, so let's get this in. Trying to speed things up a little bit, but that's usually not a good idea. And then we got this guy here. All right, so that's that. Now I want to add a little bit of wear, so I'm going to hit black color. I'm going to bring the opacity down to, let's say, 16 would probably be good. I'm going to switch brushes to something like this. Let's do a quick test. Yeah, that'll probably work. And we're going to go in here and we're going to start to kind of add a little bit of dirt or grind to these edges here, and also at the base, because that is where the concrete is touching the street. Okay, for these guys, pretty much same story, but I don't want to be too distinct about it, so we're just gonna highlight an area here, maybe a little bit at the base of the pole, like that, and then our front plate maybe just a little bit at the top here. Okay, all right, cool. So this looks like a kid's painting, but that's fine. What we're going to do is we're going to take our background and we're going to get rid of that, which will leave us with an alpha image, and this is what we're going to save out as our color map. Okay, so we're going to go to File, Save As. I'm going to save this out as a JPEG, and I'll call this color map, just simple. Okay, and let's save that out. Okay, now next step is we're going to go back into Maya and we're going to prep our model for export to UE4. Here we go. Okay guys, we're back in Maya, so I'm going to drag select my model and I want to apply a new material. So I'm going to right click, assign new material. I'll take a new Lambert and then I'll hit this checkered box next to my color tab, and I want to replace this with a file. Now I'm going to click on my folder and I'm going to look for the file that we just created, which is our color map here, and let's hit OK. And as you can see, it has been added to our model. We got the gray on the base there, and it has a little bit of black dirt and so going on, you know, so this is pretty much it. All right, so what we have so far is this model that we haven't saved out yet, and we have a color map. Okay, now one thing I need to make sure of is that as far as the dimensions are concerned, this roughly has the correct height for the game engine. Okay, so I'm quickly gonna switch views to this view here, and I'm going to go to, I believe it was under Create, Measure Tool, Distance Tool. Okay, so I'm going to click here Sorry about being messy with the measure tool. It's not something I use a lot. Okay, and then we're going to take our model here. Okay, and we're going to start to scale that up. And as you can see, quite a bit. Before we do that, let's select a group instead of the object. So outliner, we're going to go to our group that we created. And I can't find it for some reason, so Control G to group it. Then we're going to scale it, so we're not going to have an issue, and it doesn't have to be exactly that size as long as you don't have this tiny object. Okay, that kind of works. Okay, so I'm going to go to Windows Outliner and I'm going to get rid of these locators. There we go. So that's good size. Color map is present, all good. All right. Now, what we do need to do next is we need to select our model and we need to export it. So we're going to go to File, Export, Selection, Option box, and we get a couple of options here. We can export as an OBJ, that will be accepted by UE4. We can do an FBX, that's what I'll do. Let's see, we'll just quickly walk through the options here and see if there's anything that we really need to do. I think this looks good. So export selection, I'm going to call this streetlight FBX. There we go. We're just going to go through these guys here quickly. Okay, and hit export selection. All right, time to jump into our game engine. Here we go. Okay guys, well here we are in Unreal Engine 4 and it's time to load up the prop that we created. Okay, so we're going to go to import and we're going to go to, let's see, where'd it go? Right there. We're going to go and select our FBX file and we're going to import all, which includes our textures, and that should all be combined. Now we have a little bit of information here on smoothing groups, but that's fine. I'm not too worried about that right now. So we now got our model down here and we got our texture map. So what we're going to do is we're going to left click and drag our street light and we're going to drop it inside our engine, and then we're going to pull the control to pull that object up until it's situated on the floor. Okay. Now if we hit F on our keyboard, you can zoom in and then you can see that the textures have actually been applied. I'll just pull it down so it's sitting on the floor, and you know, that is as basic as it gets. All right, now just to show you that you can actually interact with this, what we're going to do is we're going to hit the play button up here and we're going to have our character walk over to our street light. And there you go. So guys, that's all there's to it. Like I said, very, very basic, but hopefully that will help you to understand the pipeline. For those of you who are interested, please check out the MH Tutorials Hangout and Chat group. I announced that a couple of days ago and we already have well over 120 members and they are sharing their work and asking each other questions, so that's lots of fun. And that said, hope to see you there. Hope to see you in my next video, and thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Bye.